Reboots and remakes. The first thing I think about when I hear this is, oh, people are gonna say it sucks. I'm not saying that this is always said about reboots and remakes, but it's very common. First of all, what is the difference between a reboot and a remake? Well, after a search on Google, a reboot is when they completely retell the story, and a remake is exactly how it sounds. I can't tell you how much it annoys me when I see negative comments about remakes. Don't get me wrong, I'm not very optimistic about them either. When I first heard that they were making a movie off of Dora the Explorer, a show that I absolutely loved growing up, by the way, I was on the fence about it. Cause think about it, based off the type of show it was, how on earth can they make a movie about her? The show was educational to 4-year-olds, might I add. But when the trailer came out, I actually thought it was pretty good. But I'm not so sure about Danny Trejo as Boots. Also, how the heck did Michael Pena get into this? I'd watch it, but not in theaters. I think what I liked about it is that they made Dora older than she was in the show, and they set it in a later chapter in her life. You know, treat her like any other PG-rated adventure film. I've never seen this movie, but I always thought the idea of a Kim Possible live-action movie would be pretty cool. Unlike Dora, Kim Possible had a plot that you could do anything with. But from what I've heard, the movie seems to be pretty cheesy like other Disney Channel movies, and the whole thing seems to be an extended episode of Kim on her first days of school. To me, it would have been cool if the whole thing was her backstory. I don't know if you've noticed, but the backstory from the original show is pretty vague. Still, I might watch it if I had the opportunity. Also, is it just me, or do the actors feel convincing enough to meet the age range of the characters? Because to me, they kinda don't. However, there are some remakes that get positive criticism, but I feel like that's only when Disney does it. Like, no, seriously. They have pretty high scores on Rotten Tomatoes. Not 100%, but it's still a high score. I know that sounds biased, but you know it's true. To be fair, there are a bunch of other remakes that get positive criticism that aren't Disney, such as the Jumanji movie. I don't know why people are hating on remakes these days. I think this was said for the new Dumbo movie, but someone said when it comes to remakes, you have to be true to the original, but at the same time bring something new to the table. With that being said, I think reboots and remakes are getting so much hate because of the way that they're executed. On the topic of reboots, which usually happens with shows, is that the characters are made to be a lot more stupid than they really are. Examples include Teen Titans Go and the Powerpuff Girls reboot, but I am giving Teen Titans Go credit for introducing me to the original show. I've never seen the reboot or the original show for DuckTales, but I've heard that it's pretty good. What a lot of reboots and remakes do these days is that they'll add or remove things to mess around with the plot a bit, or to fill out blanks that were left by the original source. While I was writing the script, I was trying to think about examples about how things are executed in remakes, but I don't have anything that keeps talking about my opinion about it. But I do have an example that I really need to talk about, so I'm gonna do that now. I don't know if you've heard of this, but back in the 80s there was a show called Jem and the Holograms. And as a kid, I watched this show on Netflix. And in 2015, they made a reboot movie of it. The story was changed a lot in the movie, and by definition, that's a reboot. I was able to find a bunch of references to the original show while I was watching this movie. More specifically, references to the theme song. Of course, they kept a lot of the original characters, and they kept and cut some out to mess around with the story. I also cried 3 times watching it. I don't have to explain myself there. I personally enjoyed this movie, and I might watch it again. It was years later when I saw how much hate the movie got, and I never understood why. And to this day, I still kinda don't. I know that the story in the movie is completely different from the original show, but regardless, there were a lot of things that they did a good job with. For example, I liked how they gender bended the antagonist of the movie, and I liked the movie version of Rio a lot more than the original one. I don't know about the fans to the original show, but I absolutely hated Rio. Mainly because, when you think about it, Rio was cheating on both Erica and Jem, even though they were the same person. Not to mention he gets jealous really easily, and he's really immature when it comes to arguments. The reason I like Rio in the movie is because he knew about Jem's identity, and some other reason. I just liked that he knew her secret. It caused me a lot of relief. With all that being said, reboots and remakes aren't really bad. I just want to take a look at them before I actually give my opinion about it. I'm not saying that you have to like reboots and remakes. You can have whatever opinion you want about anything. I'm just saying don't jump to a conclusion of how a reboot or a remake is going to be. Look at it first before you make a decision. This is gonna sound off topic, but I need to get this off my chest. A lot of times I see certain movies being called ripoffs, and it bothers me a bit depending on the circumstance. 3 examples of ripoffs that I see a lot of times are Explorer, Finding Nemo and Shark Tales, Ants and a Bug's Life, and Kiki's Delivery Service and Mary and the Witch's Flower. Guys, I wouldn't call things ripoffs unless it had multiple things in common with each other. I could go on talking about the differences between them, but that would take a long time, so here you go. Just to remind you guys, these are all just my thoughts and opinions about this topic. I'm just saying, don't judge a movie by its theater poster. Hi guys! I've had the idea for this channel in the back of my head for a while now, and I'm glad to finally get started. Now before I go, I just want to get a few things cleared up out of the way. Since you can see by the style of this channel, I'm not going to be showing my face very often. I also won't be talking about my personal life on this channel like other YouTubers, and if I do, I will just quickly brush it over and no names will be said. I also won't be uploading very often on this channel, which is a combination of me being busy and how long it takes to make these videos. Lastly, I just want to give a big thank you to my friends and family about this. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you want, you can follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you next time.